Hello everyone. I hope everybody is doing good. Thank you for joining me today. In this live, we will be making a colorful drawing, and we will be using color pencils on just normal sketching paper. Thank you for joining. Why not, Ben? So happy to see you here today. Grab your color pencils and join me making some colorful art. We are starting by using the lightest blue we have, and we will be using that as our base color. I will be mixing this color with yellow to create the appearance of a sunset. I was staring today at the sunset just as the sun was finishing the sunset, finishing its work shift, and I noticed that the yellow of the sunset and the blue of the night was blending together, and that made it have a greenish tint, and that is my inspiration for today. Why not, Ben? I love sunsets too. It just makes my brain go somewhere else. Why not, Ben's asking sunsets or sunrise? Which do you prefer? Oof. I wish I was awake in the mornings to watch more sunrises. But since I'm not, I have to say sunset. What about you? Let me know if you prefer sunset or sunrise. In my experience, the sunrise is more pink than the sunset, and the sunset is more orange than the sunrise. So now we're taking a deeper shadow of blue, however, not the darkest that we will be using just yet. And we will be using this to blend into the darkest shades that we will be using today. But it's not the darkest shade that we will be using. And we will not go over all of the light blue, because if we do, we will not leave space for the yellow to mix with that blue. So as I approach the top of the drawing, I will make it darker. I will do a little more pressure than I am at the bottom. And just slowly, while we talk together in this live, build up the darkness of the night. As we see fit. On top of this medium dark blue, I will be using a violet because the violet blue is just a little darker than this blue. And just like that, we can already see the darkness of the night being built in our little magical whimsical world. And we've got a nice medium shade of blue. We will then go back in with the violet, and I will be darkening the top part of this drawing just to make it match what we have on the left side. Why not Ben is asking if I'm doodling later. I'm not sure. I haven't done doodling live streams very often, so I might, but I'm not sure. So it's a good time now to go in with that violet blue, and we will see how it starts to match what we have on the left side. As we said, this violet blue is darker, and it helps us build the darkness around the night sky. So just very gently building up the sky. And forgive me if I don't pay too much attention to the chat. I want to make sure I'm doing a good job at painting and also looking at the chat, so my attention will be divided. So just like that, we're starting to build the night sky. So I will make sure that it matches and it blends in with what we have on the left side. And it's a good time now to go in with our darkest shade of blue. And I'm not getting too technical. I'm just using what I have in my pencil box. in this darker shade. What it helps us do is to frame the drawing that we're making. And I just broke the tip of my pencil. So we will sharpen our color pencil. It is one of the downsides of using Crayola pencils. And there's a reason that I blow on whatever lint or any shavings that I have on my drawing. And that is because if I just roll my hand across, I may ruin the drawing. And I may create a streak that I don't want. So little by little, we're building out that darkness that we want. And why not Ben is laughing because I broke my pencil. It must be because I was a little too angry today. Joseph Hawthorne said hi. Hello, Joseph. How is your night going? What time is it where you are? Now I will go back in with this light blue that we used at the very beginning, and I will go over everything with it because it creates another layer of depth, and we can be blending. Why not? Ben said, why angry? Angry because of my day job. But don't tell anybody. Please don't tell anybody. Don't tell my boss. So let's go over everything with this lighter blue. And let's make it fade as we approach the hills in our drawing, like so. And this because, like I was telling Ben earlier in the stream, I was looking at the sunset and the yellow was blending in with the blue and having just a tiny hint of green. Why not? Ben said, until I know you work a computer job. I do. Not very creative. So let's get in with our yellow. And since I've been speaking so much about how we're going to blend it into green, here's what we're doing now. Blending it into a shade of green, just a little. Why not? Ben said in Colorado. Yes, that's correct. worked in Colorado. Where do you live, Ben? If you feel like sharing, let me know where you're watching from. And before we blend all of this with a paper stick, we will use our yellow and our orange color to create the light of the sun that just went away. When Ben said he's watching from Florida, it must be so nice to be near the beach. So what we're going to do, we will take our paper stick, and with this we will begin blending all of our colors together. And the blending is very subtle, but it gives it a layer of professionalism. I will stop and show you the difference. Look at this and look at this. The blending makes a difference. A subtle difference. We have Jorge Chavarria in the chat saying hi. Hello, Jorge. Let us know where you're watching from. I'm very interested to know. I am in Colorado, making this live stream for everyone around the world. Now before I get into the yellow, I will show you how to clean your paper stick with a little bit of sandpaper. Jorge said he's watching from Pittsburgh. I've never met anybody from Pittsburgh. You're the first person that I ever talked to from Pittsburgh. So we'll continue blending with our paper stick. And I have lots of crocodiles in the chat. Or alligators. I'm not sure. But since we have Why Not Ben from Florida, that might be why. Lots of alligators screaming in the chat. And look at this. How the yellow blends so beautifully with the blue. Creating a gradient that resembles the sunset going into the night. The more we blend, the better it will look. So I will blend that yellow up in the sky. Why Not Ben is making fun of my pinky. And that's just how I have to make my hand stretch across the paper so that you can see what I'm drawing. So what we're doing is a very minimal glow of orange. Very lightly laying that orange before we go in with our paper stick. We will blend it, and I will give it a good clean before we do that. We will blend this into the yellow, and it will become very subtle, just like it did over here. Very subtle shade of orange. And I'm feeling very tempted to do an orange aurora. If you have any strong feelings about it, let me know. If I should do an orange aurora here, I'm very open to suggestions, and I'm holding back maybe just a little bit. We'll be coloring these hills first. So I'll take a shade of red that is different from the one on the left side. If you can see the difference on the camera, this shade of red has a different undertone to it. Why Not Ben said, do purple, that's my favorite color. I will think about it. I will take in your consideration. And I will actually overlap a darker shade of red just a little bit to create dimension with these hills. Like this. Why Not Ben said the floor is lava. It is. And Jorge said, looks amazing. Thank you, Jorge. Chalaria. I appreciate you watching all the way from Pittsburgh. I'm not sure how close that is to Colorado. So let's overlap that red a little bit. Make it look like a transition shade, although it isn't. Yesterday we had a doodling stream, and it was very nice because that became more interactive than the art streams where I have to keep focused. So now let's take another shade, and I feel like being brave here. Let's do a lilac hill, and I will mix the lilac with some blue, And the purpose for that is to create cohesiveness with the rest of the painting. Because we don't have any lilac, if we mix it with blue, it will match the sky. Pittsburgh, Jorge Chavarria said, pretty far, I'm near New York. You are indeed very far from me in Colorado. And why not Ben is very happy we're doing purple. I'm glad. I love purple too. Purple and pink. If you look at my art, most of my paintings and drawings are purple and pink. But recently, I've been trying to use different colors because I know everybody has different tastes. So I think why not? Why not? Let's try some blue, some orange. Make it different. So this hill will really change when we blend it. Why not? Ben said, why not? And I agree. Why not is one of those phrases to live by, to be quite honest. And you might see me reference you in my streams every time I say why not. Because it's a good mindset to have usually. Not always, but usually. So we can restore the balance here. I'm gonna make this hill a shade of orange, and I will mix it with red, magenta, or perhaps a crimson color. Let's try this shade. It's actually a different kind of purple. Almost, I would say, crimson. So let's just do this purple around the hill, around the outline. But not the middle. And let's go back in with the orange to make sure it is light enough. We are trying different things here. We have nothing to lose. And just like why not? Sometimes you have to remind yourself I have nothing to lose. Jorge Chavarria said it's coming along nice. Thank you, Jorge. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And I hope you feel inspired to do your own art as well sometime. Or I hope that at least you're feeling relaxed as you're watching. I don't know if you're like me, that you have a day job, but it's nice at the end of the day to unwind, to relax a little bit, slow down, do something where you don't have to think so hard, and that helps you fall asleep. So now that we're done, let's do our last hail before we do more of our trees. And for this hail, I will do that magenta color. I will find it here in my box of pencils. And I will lightly lay the magenta color. Jorge Chavarria, can I ask you what you do? Do you work? Do you study? And why not Vincent fire emojis? Which I appreciate. And yes, it does look like lava and fire. It seems like it was my inspiration, although it wasn't. So very lightly, make sure I'm laying on the magenta before I do the outlines. And I will add some orange to the middle of this hill. Jorge Chavarria said, I work in a body shop. That's so nice. It sounds like hard work. And I think it's good. At the end of the day, to relax, especially if you've been doing hard work like fixing cars. Fun fact, in December, my car got stolen. And they totaled my car. And I took my car to the body shop. To the mechanic, I don't know. It was actually a mechanic at a dealership. And they said my car was totaled. Because I was looking at the chat. So let's fix it real quick. Coloring outside the lines today. And Jorge Chavarria said sometimes things don't fit like they should, but not that crazy. I don't do mechanical work. I think doing mechanical work on a car must be better than doing the customer service part of it. I'm not a big fan of working customer service. Jorge said, yeah, if it's too expensive, they usually label it a total loss. Unfortunately, that's what happened with my car. In December, I lost my car. And it all happens for a reason. To be honest, I don't think I would be here streaming if I hadn't lost my car. whoever stole it was not very careful. They were probably not in the right mind, to be honest. And right now what we're doing is just deepening that orange red with the red. Look what difference it makes when we overlap the colors and we use more pressure. Now it's time to blend it all together. Let's clean. Well, since we've been using orange, there's no need to clean the paper stick. Let's just blend everything we have. Why not dance and they were sliding away? That's crazy. Yeah, I guess that's how it works in big cities. That happens a lot in Colorado. I'm not the only one. So I'm blending using circle motions around the edges where I want the red and the orange to mix. And for the rest, I'm just doing straight lines. Why not? Ben said they stole my buddy's car when he was delivering for Amazon, and they wrecked it too. It is too common, I think, in the US, sadly. And now, because I really like the way that the red looks here, framing the hill, I will add it as well on this side, just a little bit. I have to be careful so I don't cover the drawing, and you can still see what I'm doing. I will carefully blend that in with the orange. Just like that. Now let's go back in, blend it. Why not? Ben said Purple Mountain wasn't the best idea for me. I honestly like it. I think it's unique and makes it stand out. So now, let's do the finishing touches, and for that we'll use markers. And these are the colors that I used for the tree, believe it or not. So it is a orange color for the trunk of the tree, and for the leaves we have turquoise blue, or if you will, dark aquamarine. Not sure the correct name of this shade. It doesn't say. Jorge Chavarria said I like it. Thank you. I agree with you. I think the purple hill was a nice touch. So, in order to do these trees, I want them to be a little dramatic. And for that, what we need to do at the bottom is these branches that look like hands, almost. And this is what gives it a little bit of a dramatic look. Makes it look almost like straight out of Don Quixote or something like that. instead of being too whimsical or too real, which we have done in other streams. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to do a V just like this. And that is the base of almost every tree that I'm drawing here. Just continue to do little V's. Keep things in proportion to the trunk, like this. Keep going with little V's on the branches. That's how we get realistic trees. And to make it dramatic, let's do these hand-looking branches wrapping around the tree. Jorge Chavarria said, I'm going to bed. This was relaxing. Tune in. We'll tune in. Thank you, Jorge. I'm glad that you got sleepy enough to go to bed. Have a great night, and thank you for joining. All the way from Pittsburgh. Hope to see you soon. In another life. In another stream. When I say life, it sounds like I'm saying, I will see you in another lifetime. I will just continue doing my branches until we have enough. And then let's go in now into the green. And now that I'm looking at it, I might leave some of these branches empty because it looks nice. Why not bend it in another life? Yeah, that's what it sounds like when I say, every time I say live stream. When I say live, it just sounds like I'm saying another lifetime. So I need to get used to saying stream. And I need to get used to saying something else instead of another life or previous lives. It sounds funny, doesn't it? Just like that, all I'm doing is drawing tiny circles. And that's what makes the leaves in this tree. And I will focus for this one on the smaller branches. And leave the main branches empty. And the reason is because that's usually how trees look. Oh, I wanted to leave this one empty. So I'll just do very few leaves. Why not bend it? Do some leaves on the mountain like they fell from the tree. Okay. I think that's a good idea. Let's see here. I like that. And then here, I could do the same. I think it's a nice touch, almost like it tells a story. I'm glad you like it. I'm just carefully focusing on the shorter branches. And now you know how to draw a tree. Just like that. And I'll give it some more, why not? This one will also have very few leaves, but the one next to it will make it normal, just to have some variety. The Art of Pain said hi. Hello. I'm so glad you're joining us today. The stream last night was so fun. Even after I finished, I was giggling. My dog is going crazy. Alright, thank you. There's someone outside, and my little chihuahua is going crazy. You can still hear her in the back. The Art of Pain said, I'm so late, aren't I? Just a little. It's okay though. You know what? Tomorrow I will be doing another doodling live stream. Why not Ben said it's me open? That would be insane. And that's all we have for today. The Art of Pain, you joined just a little late, but I'm happy you made it. I'm happy you're here. This is what we have for today. And I will go see what's happening with my dog. Thank you so much for joining. I hope I see you tomorrow for our doodling stream. That should be pretty fun, because it's a Friday night too. Your Pain said it's really pretty. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you so much. Big hugs. You guys have a great night. Take care. I will see you soon.